All right, I'm finally getting to the wiring on these rear truck wheel units, whatever. And I've gone through, as you can see, 3 of them to get them wired up to finally figure out how to do this, I guess, a little bit easier. And the first thing I will tell you, which is what I did with one of them, is don't pull the brass wire strands out. That's not going to help in any way. It just makes your plastic casing a noodle and it makes it worthless. It's not a good way to do things. So the easiest way I found to wire these things up, so you're going to be making 4 different wiring sets, 4 of these, 4 of these, 1 of this, different lengths. I'm just doing this one up here to start with. I am marking it as 1, and then I'll put a little mark on each one of these units, like right here, with a little 1. So I know that that is 1. That is a great way to organize what these are. So those are 1s. Marks on the same side. So what you end up having to do is, let's see, I'll take this one right here. This is the longer one that I put on the bottom. You got to glue them on. The best thing I found to do is just get regular old super glue, put it on the end, make sure that the wire isn't sticking out the end on here, and then just kind of butt joint it together. You're not going to get it to go down the rubber. I already tried. Anything like that. Just make sure you get some glue on there and butt joint it. I've been surprised at how strongly this is held once I've gotten it attached well. It's that getting it attached well part that can be troublesome. So it's already sticking. I'm feeling great already. Lucky me. The next one is you got to run the wiring up inside. Little glue. Oh, I've actually got a little bit of wire sticking out. And all I'm finding is just taking a knife and just trimming that little bit off. I'm taking this off screen just to clean it off. But see, I just basically trimmed it right down. But doing it on the same side as the side that I attached this to. Now this has just gotten loose just because I nipped it, so I'm going to have to put some more glue on there to solidify it. But yep, just get that in there. Just get it to start sticking. There we go. And I'm going to take a little bit of glue on the back of my forceps here and just kind of sneak that in there so that it stiffens that joint up a little bit. So what I found is, as soon as that's done, set that aside to dry for just a minute or 2. While I'm doing that, there was something I was going to chat with you guys about that I can't remember, but all the details, it's been a little while since I put these units together, and I've been kind of farting around with the wiring. This has been kind of stressful in that normally this just doesn't work the greatest, the vinyl butt joint to something, but it's working well enough now that I got 3 units done, finishing up the 4th one. And aside from that, the one of the cool things about this, I guess, going on to the trailer, is that with each one of these tire units pivoting independently, you don't end up getting the problem of dragging, say, either a rear tire, a rear tire unit, or a interior tire, and ruining the tread early. It's something that a lot of, like, if you look at tandem axle trailers, the rear tandem unit, they tend to have to change tires on more frequently and wear out, something that I've had to deal with. So this pivoting wheel set allows you to space all that weight out, and it also, with it pivoting, allows you to not have to worry as much about wearing tires out, blowing tires out with the weight that you've got on there. It's kind of ingenious. I'm not sure how well it works. I haven't asked anybody in military transportation, but I got to imagine that it works pretty well, because it seems like it. Okay, so now that the wiring is on, what you have to do is take this wire coming from this cylinder. Oh, yeah, see, there's a problem right there. It's not on. You thought it was on, but it's not on. Again, showing you all the problems so that you don't have to deal with them yourself as much. You're going to be doing some fishing once you get this to attach. It's kind of a tall order. But once it's, like I said, once this thing is attached, it does tend to hold on pretty dang well. I've been impressed. Now, I don't have any accelerator, so I can't use that. So I'm just basically using time and time. I don't know, humidity. So most of this video is basically going to be just me trying to glue this one on and get it to set. So it's sort of on, sort of set. So when I get something like that, I try to set it up so that it'll kind of carry the weight across the... My vinyl and super glue skills are not the greatest. I fully admit that. A lot of dead airspace in this one, sorry guys. And or gals. You know, that's actually... Hey, there you go. Something to talk about. I like the fact that there are more and more women that are going into the hobby to build models. I think that's fantabulous. I've met a number of women figure modelers, and I've even met a couple of armor modelers. There are a number of Gunpla modelers. I'm impressed all the way around whenever I meet them. So hats off. So, just want to get that to set. Now you're saying, why don't I mess with the other wire while that one sets? Because that will wiggle this thing around and make it annoying. And then it won't want to set the way that it should. So I'm going to put that like that, let that sit for another minute, and essentially the other side, and we'll get to it, is just putting the other wire on the other side of the cylinder, the other wire on the other side of that box on that cylinder head area. I'm not actually sure if that's a cylinder. I think it is. Anyways, Yeah, that's what I thought. Second I tried to get it done, so that's... Not sure if there's still any glue on there or what, so I'm gonna just add a little bit, try and get that to settle on there. I'm just trying various things to maybe get this to decide to sit and set. Now, whatever you have, if you have accelerator, that probably worked pretty well. Again, I don't. Ran out. And this one is kind of tricky, so I need that to be set. So, okay, while I'm waiting for that, I'll see if I can do this. So what I'm trying to do is wire everything out this back hole. This one's a little bit different, but you know, when you think your super glue is supposed to just be instant set super glue. I cannot tell you how annoying, how much annoyance there is with this over the past while. So anyways, while that's being stupid, this gets wired through the hole. Now you got to be careful, don't just crank on everything so that it doesn't come detached in here, but you want it to tuck through like that, and then this one's coming around this side. This one you have to run down underneath the piston head area, which is fun. The first one's easier than the second one, I'll tell you that. But you got to run both sides through there until they pop up. And you can grab it. And then I just try and straight up fish it right out the back. You can see the wire busted off there. So I'm gonna have to go back and grab it, but yeah. It's just a matter of fishing it through. Like I said, you're going fishing. That gets, and you see how it wraps up around there, so you got to keep an eye on everything. But I have had some luck where once I've fished it through, put it on there like so, I can just take a little bit of glue, put it on there, and it will reattach a lot easier because it's getting pushed in the right direction or something like that. Or sometimes you will build up enough glue on the end, like this, to where it globs, and then you gotta sit and basically cut the extra super glue off. Trying not to cut any extra vinyl off, and start over. Which is also annoying, but there we go. Having a little bit of brass in there does help it keep its shape so it doesn't go wiggling out beyond where you want once you set the shape that you want. And I apologize if I'm going off screen. I'm trying to keep it on here for you. And you got to be careful that it doesn't slide over in between the two posts, because then you're kind of short when you put your second post on. There we go. Now, these are both going to this side, and I do tend to tuck them over this way just to get them bent to begin with, because then you got to do the other side. Now, make sure you get the right one. Go through. The darker one is the longer one. That's the one that I want to run through. There's that one attached. I don't know if you can see it, but got that in there. That's attached. Again, I want to leave that just sit for a minute so that it can set, so that it can handle the being maneuvered around. And you don't want it to set for forever. You know, I mean, I wouldn't like do this and walk away and come back in an hour, because that super glue is going to go from being a little bit flexible, a little bit gooey, to being crystal rock hard. And then when you maneuver stuff, it's going to crack and break and pop off and drive you crazy. So I would wait a minute, 2, maybe 5 minutes, you know, go work on something else, do whatever you got to do, come back. Now I'm kind of pushing it because, well, I've been working on these things to make sure that I could get this video right for a while. So again, gone fishing. Now you don't want to put a lot of tension on it, so I tend to tuck things as best I can. That kind of screwed up in there and bent that around. Yeah, that broke off. But hopefully, nope. And that's, yeah, see, I'm definitely pushing it today, or at this time, for getting this wired through. I should have just been more patient. Looks like the glue is all dried up, so I gotta put a little dab on there. Clean off your tweezers when you do that, because otherwise your tweezers will have glue and they'll just glue themselves right to the tubing, for example, and then you've got a whole new exciting problem. There. Nope, gonna have to pull it off. So part of the problem with this one is, if they are, the way that the gravity pulls on them while they're glued, it'll just put weird stresses on them and yank them right off. So while that one's setting, as you can see, you got to send the second wire right next to the first, right underneath there. Best you can. And eventually when you get it right, it does go through fairly easily. I mean, you don't have to really crank on it, but the prospect of getting this started right can be kind of difficult. Yep, just go until you can fish it out. Just make sure you're grabbing the right wire when you're doing stuff. And like I said, I'm trying to run it straight out the back now. Like so. And you'll notice it pulls pretty easy through there once it's figured out. And if it curls right, it'll curl right down in there. You just give it like that. You want it to have a nice little curve to it. That's not gonna be a problem. You got that sticking right out the back, right over this way. Now we can go back to this one. And this one is easier, but for whatever reason, with that last run, it just did not want to be pulled through. It wasn't set enough yet. Sometimes it won't curl the way you want. You just gotta kind of be careful and help ease it through so that it goes without binding. And without pulling it off. So, I have just pulled through the wires for both sides for one set right here. 2 off of the cylinder head here, 2 off of the piece in the back of that cylinder there. Like so, all 4 of these are now finished. It's taken me about an hour to do that, trying to figure it all out. It's been going quicker now that I know what I'm doing. Make sure you cut them to the right length. That's what I've got my ruler for. And yeah, so I'll do another video, who knows when, as far as finishing up the details, and that's going to be those photo etch clamps. There's a photo etch clamp that goes on the back of here, so you guide 2 wires for this side, 2 wires for that side, and then there's the plastic parts that go up on here that are guides that the wires go through as well. And then eventually putting them on the trailer, I'm assuming. See how the wiring diagram has the wires going 2 into this part and 2 deeper in. So we'll see where that all goes, but that is wiring these up, 4 down and 6 to go. See you for the next video.